Hi, I'm William Buhidar here with Jason Rodriguez, Chair of the Drama Department here at South Texas College, and we are here to interview Jason regarding the latest production of the theater department, The Jungle Book.
Yes.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I always love doing family theater, and so this year we decided to do The Jungle Book, and it's actually one of my favorite stories, childhood stories actually. And so when we saw this adaptation, I was like, okay, we have to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's one of my favorites. I mean, I love the characters and the whole idea of how you define family. So that's what's been interesting about looking at this production is like how these characters create and define family for themselves. And it definitely brings as a powerful message in the play.
So when you were selecting the productions for this year, this is what was resonating with you, obviously.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. This was something that I was really passionate about, and this was a new adaptation that we found, and in this particular adaptation, they've made it because in the Jungle Book, in terms of what most people are familiar with, there's a lot of colonialism that ends up being interpreted as well as like dealing with stereotypes and what have you. And in this production, they really made sure to take that away. So what we're really looking at are the characters in their true form. Minus any types of those stereotypes that we'd have seen regarding being in India and dealing with, the British and what have you. It's something completely different. So we're really looking at the core essentials of these characters, which is really beautiful to see and how they interact.
An older audience is going to remember Jungle Book from the Disney version.
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
Okay, so they're coming here. They're going to have a very different experience.
They are all going to have a different experience. Even our students, when they were auditioning, they were already like intending to go in and start auditioning, with the musical numbers and all these things that were from the Disney
Right.
version. I'm like, no, that's not what this is.
This is not a musical.
That's not it. That's not it. And so I want to be King Louis. There's no King Louis. So yeah, it's a very different interpretation. The meaning is still there and the beauty is still there. But I think adults and children are going to be able to pull something that's going to be really awesome from this play.
What's the challenge for you, Jason, directing something this important?
For me is that it's got to be something that when you're doing children's theater, you have to be sure that the children are going to be engaged. That once a play starts, they're on an adventure. And more importantly, that they are invested in that production. So the moment it starts, they are just completely just fixated on what's happening and what's going on around them. We usually talk about, in terms of when we're talking with our directors and playwrights, those moments where, you start to see the shuffling in this chair and this and all that, and you know that you're losing their engagement. This play does the exact opposite of that. And we really incorporated some things into the play where there will be some audience participation. So the audience will be able to howl like the wolves and be able to ooh, ooh, ooh like the monkeys. Say some of the dialogue that's being said, by the rest of the wolves or whoever, and so they get to participate with their families, being a part of this play, which we thought that would be fun. And so I think that for me is one of the challenges, making sure that when they come in, they're going to have a great time and they're going to be excited and they're going to completely just want to be jumping up in their seats and just having fun. And I think the other challenge with this one is that there's only 5 actors. So 5 actors, one who is Mowgli throughout the whole play, but the other 4 actors move and shift from one character to another, to another, to another. And so, it becomes this incredible adventure to see them play and switch from one person or one animal to another and see how their bodies change, how their voices change, all of that. And it's just so fun because it makes you think about how when you're kids and you're doing story time with your kids and you start, playing these different characters, being the big bad wolf or Goldilocks or what have you, and so you don't just read it as you read it as these characters, and the kids are engaged and they love it.
So the challenge is also for these actors.
Yeah, and even then, the other thing that we added was that there's a lot of physicality that they're going to see on stage and in the audience. We have ropes hanging from the stage for our actors to swing by. They have found ways to be, I guess you could say, acrobatic on stage, as well as creating these balancing acts in the audience that people are going to be really whoa. But it's going to be really, really fun.
Give us the times and the dates on these, please.
Sure. So our productions are going to be on the 17th, 18th, and 19th at 8 p.m. and on Sunday on the 20th at 2 p.m. here. And I would suggest that if you're going to come in and buy tickets, please do so and get here by 7:45 at the latest. Usually our Sunday performances were really sold out.
And ticket prices?
Ticket prices for general community members, it's $10. Students, faculty, staff, it's $5. And seniors and military, it's $5.
Fabulous. Let's talk about the set.
Yeah.
Because there's something very unique about the set.
Yes.
Share with us about the set.
Well, for the longest time, the department has talked about approaching the production using recyclable materials and repurposing materials for production, and only utilizing those materials to create the costumes and the set. And luckily that we had a colleague here at the college that had a contact in the community that was willing to give us a contribution. And so that was Valley Plastics and Paper Recycling. And so we got in contact with them, and they gave us an abundance of materials for us to play with. And so when you come onto that stage, when you see that stage, it's completely created out of recyclable materials.
Wow.
So using cardboard and foam and leather pieces, the plastic material mesh that you see on produce bags, as well as brown paper, and even then that even got translated into the props that were created, as well as looking at secondhand clothes that we then repurposed and did what we needed to do for costuming. So literally this was really looking at how do we use the materials that we have available to play with. And I mean, for me, that's what I used to do when I was a kid. You know, I would if a box was around, it became my car, it became my castle, all these things. A stick became more than a stick. And I think that in some ways, I think our young people have lost that ability to create and imagine. And it's something that we need to return to. And more importantly, even for us as adults, you think about the fact that, our creativity and our imagination is what, continues to push our society forward.
Absolutely.
And so we wanted to make sure that in creating that set, that it wasn't hidden by paint or any type of texturization or texturizing, so that you saw the set as it is. You see the forms and shapes, but this was what it was made out of, because we wanted them to be able to see how that looked. But I mean, our faculty, our staff, our students had a great time just experimenting and playing with the materials to figure out how are we going to do this and create this.
I got to tell you, I've seen the set, and just the idea of approaching it this way, to me, it's innovative. I mean, for you to do this is fantastic. Who designed it?
The set design was done by Roberto de Hoyos, and he is a staff member here. He is actually one of our first graduates when we first started the program here at STC. And he went on to study design at Sam Houston State University in costume and in set. And so he came back, and we hired him for part-time work, and he's been here ever since. And so he's been an invaluable resource for us. And just as creative and innovative as he was when he was, here studying with us, he's still the same way, if not more, because of the opportunities he had at Sam Houston State. And then Marcela Garza, who is a faculty member here and our resident costume designer, was responsible for creating the costumes that you're going to see on the stage.
Let me get some personal background on yourself, because I think your audiences would love to know. What got you into drama? When did you first get into drama? You kind of talked a little bit about as a child your own creative ability, but what was the spark you said, this is where my life is going to be headed?
It was really weird for me. So in high school and middle school and all that, I really didn't do drama and theater. I was in music. And so I went on to university and I started doing religious studies, but I was also doing a lot of social activism and community service work. And in that type of work, I started incorporating the arts. And how is it that you create community? How is it that you create a message for social activism? And from there, it just started to develop. And I went on and graduated. I worked at Brown University, and I continued exploring how does art and education come together to create change. And I ended up working. After I left Brown University, I went to Dallas and was working at Dallas Children's Theater as a VISTA volunteer, working on an arts education program that incorporated theater into the curriculum there for 4th and 5th graders. And that was the spark. That was the spark for me that said, this is what I want to do. And I wanted to work in theater. I wanted to work in working with children. I wanted to do education. And I ended up going to UT Austin for my master's in fine arts and continue finding ways to create social change and still maintain passion with education, but utilizing theater as the entry point. And it just blossomed from there. You know, I was an educator for a school district here in the Valley for about 7 years before I came here to STC. And it's been a great adventure, a great journey for me here.
What advice or thoughts would you give to a high school student who's thinking about drama as a career? And they're thinking, what would it take for me to do that? What kind of advice would you give?
I would say that if that's what you're passionate about, then do it. But understand that it is not just about what happens on stage and the building and creating of sets or creating of costumes. There are so much other things that blossom out of theater than that. We have people that are heavily involved in, say, sound editing, or that are very passionate about working in lights, or interested in education, or becoming a theater teacher. There are all these things that are ways that you can be involved in theater, and we allow that opportunity for our students here at SDC to explore how they feel they have a relationship with theater. For some of them, it's performance. For others, it's tech. Others, it's education. Others, it's about social activism, and that's something new that we started working with. And so there's all these different avenues that we try to create and opportunities for our students, and also for high school students, so that they can understand, like, I can have a career in this. I don't have to major in theater, and graduate and then wait tables. There's another way for me to be involved in this field of work that that will make me thrive. And I think part of it is that having our young people, our students, begin to understand how important it is to be very versatile, and be able to multitask and be multifaceted, and in that career field that they're interested in.
What's the most rewarding aspect for you as a director, or just simply in your career now as running this department?
I think that for me, the most rewarding thing is to see our students grow and be successful, and to see them blossom. I have students that have who are very quiet and very meek, and they find their niche here in the department, and then they just blossom and come out of their shell, and they become more vocal and more involved and more confident in the work that they do. And then I have people like Roberto, who I see, who has started with us from the very beginning and has come back and giving back to the community and working with the students and working in the same building that he started in. And again, that's to me, that's the crowning glory, to see our students be successful, graduate, and they're working in the field, and they're contributing in ways that are just incredible. And the ideas and the innovation that they have, I played a part in that. Our department played a part of that. The college played a part in that. And so that, I think, in some ways, is this awesome legacy that we create here at STC.
It's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very powerful.
Very powerful. Favorite character in Jungle Book?
My favorite character. I love all of them, but my favorite character has to be Baloo. There's just so much comedy within that character. There is this paternal and maternal qualities that this character possesses, and in some ways I identify with Baloo, and I see Baloo perform on stage, and he's a former student as well, and I look and I'm like, my friends are going to laugh because they're going to see qualities of me in this character. And so it's funny, but I mean, I would have to say that he's one of my favorites.
You're kind of the parent here as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us the times again, the dates, please.
Sure. It's November 17th through the 20th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. It will be at 8 p.m. here at the Cooper Center at the main stage, and on Sunday the 20th at 2 p.m.
Excellent. And the phone number again?
872-2301.
You have a website by chance, or Facebook?
Facebook page, it's STC Theater. You can find us under South Texas College Theater, and we have a Facebook page, and there will be more information there.
Any hints about what's going on after Jungle Book for our audience?
We will be having auditions in December, which we'll be posting on our Facebook page very soon for our next production in February, which will be Boeing. And so it's a French farce. It's going to be hilariously fun, and we're going to have a great time with that.
Fabulous. This is Jason Rodriguez here visiting with us. head of the drama department here at South Texas College. Jason, it's been fabulous. We're
Thank you.
looking forward to a great production.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet.